Hi, I'm Amy Eisenstein. Welcome to Ask the Fundraising Expert, the place for simple, easy to understand fundraising advice and inspiration so you can raise significantly more money for the cause you love. Let's get started. Today's question comes from Sasha, who writes, I got into fundraising because I wanted to change the world, but lately I've been feeling discouraged and unhappy at work. If I wanted to be miserable at work, I would have worked in the corporate sector. My question is, how can I get my passion back, and how can you help me put the fun back in fundraising? Great question, Sasha. Thank you for being brave enough to ask such a tough and important question. It's actually a sentiment I hear a lot, maybe not in those exact words, but it is certainly a recurring theme in nonprofits I work with. So much so, in fact, that I started to ask myself what was happening and began to do some research on the subject. As a result, I developed a keynote speech called Happiness, Habits, and Major Gift Fundraising: Strategies to Help You Survive and Thrive. Now, I realize we're straying away from our focus on board members, but I thought this was a really important question to answer, and I love the topic, so here goes. In my research on the subject, I found that study after study show that happiness is linked to productivity, which tells us that if you're not happy as you could be, you're probably not as productive as you could be. The good news for us is that a study called the Happiness at Work Survey showed that people who work in caregiving or direct service are 75% more likely to be happy. And that includes a lot of people in the nonprofit sector. Of course, as fundraisers, we're not always on the front lines, but I figure we're pretty close, which has got to be good for our souls. The survey also found that people who were happy were 31% more productive and 3 times more creative. But what can you do if you're unhappy at work, like Sasha is? Well, I'm a true believer in the power of positive thinking. If you think you can, you can. Henry Ford said it best when he said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And in the great words of Peter Pan, think happy thoughts. The fact is that if you change your beliefs, you will change your outcomes. However, let me reassure you that this is not a case of wishful thinking. So how does it work? When you change your beliefs, you change your actions to support those beliefs. Let me say that again. Once you change the belief, you'll change your actions to support that belief. A few years back, I worked with a woman named Kelly. Now, Kelly did not believe she was a good fundraiser, unfortunately. So how do you think she spent her time? She played on the internet. She procrastinated. She complained that she didn't have any good prospects. Well, no wonder Kelly couldn't raise any money. It was a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, more recently, I worked with a woman named Debbie. Now, Debbie was an amazing fundraiser, and she knew it. And every time before she would go out to ask an individual for a gift, she would announce to the office, I'm going out to raise a gift. I just don't know what the details are yet. And she would say, see ya, with a big grin. And invariably, she would come back with a gift. So what if you expect the best instead of assume the worst? Then how would you act? Now, I realize that you may have an incompetent boss or an unhelpful board, which can be frustrating, but I've seen people overcome these challenges. Another reason to think happy thoughts or think positively is that happy people give more to charity. A working paper produced at Harvard Business School called Feeling Good About Giving showed that happier people give more, and giving makes people happier, which means that happiness and giving generate a positive happiness cycle. Incredible! The more you give, the happier you are. And the happier you are, the more you give. How awesome is that? And doesn't it make sense that happy people would want to be around other happy people? So if you're happy, it's more likely that your donors will want to be around you, which is pretty important for fundraising. Bottom line, if you think happy thoughts, act on those thoughts, you can do anything you set your mind to. So Sasha, I hope that answers your question and helps put some of the fun and passion back in your fundraising. Now it's your turn to share. I hope you'll join the discussion and help others by leaving a comment below. Did this video inspire you to try something new? Do you have an example or a story to share? Do you agree or disagree with today's advice? If so, please let me know in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to share it with your friends or followers. Finally, if you want to learn even more ways to supercharge your fundraising, visit my website, trypointfundraising.com. Join my list, and as a thank you, you'll get 2 of my most popular ebooks for free. That's the end of today's episode, but I hope you're feeling inspired and empowered. Thanks so much for doing your part to make the world a better place. I hope to see you next time on Ask the Fundraising Expert.